Our next panel of testifiers will include Dwayne A. Vicini, President of the Education Consortium of Upper Allegheny, Kate Brock, Executive Director of the Community Education Council of Elk and Cameron Counties, and Pam Stretch, Director of Planning of the North Central Workforce Investment Board. So,
You gonna start?
we have your testimonies, so you may begin as you would see fit. And you are...
Still on? Nope. Is this on? Okay. Green light means it's on? Okay.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. I'm Kate Brock. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Education Council of Elk and Cameron Counties. It's really too bad we saved the best for last, and there's hardly anybody here left at the end of this long day, but thank you in advance for sticking it through this long morning and long afternoon. So as I said, my name is Kate Brock. I'm the Executive Director of the Community Education Council of Elk and Cameron Counties, which is located in St. Mary's. Our Community Education Council was referenced just recently in the last testimony, which was music to my ears. We are one of the best kept secrets in the Commonwealth. The Community Education Councils are one of 8 CECs that have been established across the state of Pennsylvania due to the lack of educational opportunities in higher education and continuing education. We've been around for more than 2 decades. Our mission is very unique to higher education in that we do 2 things. We assess the local need for the higher education and continuing education, and then we go out and we find what is that most appropriate training provider and program to meet that need. Our communities and our employers look to the community education councils to help find and provide the most appropriate education and training. We are often the first stop, that first phone call that a company, an employer, an individual will make when they are seeking information about higher education. We advise them and we help them navigate their options from everything from a GED to a master's degree and anything in between. We will help them find it. So while the CECs have been successfully doing this and facilitating and brokering higher education to our rural regions for more than 20 years, our residents are still at a serious disadvantage. When a guidance counselor sits down to have a conversation with a high school junior or senior at the St. Mary's Public High School to talk about what's next, the term community college doesn't even figure into that dialogue. When a single mother who just finished her GED in our facility is working full-time and wants to know where she can go next for an affordable degree to just get her feet wet with a couple of courses, the community college is not an option for her. When a student returns home after only completing 30 credits at a 4-year institution because they dropped out because they couldn't afford it, 4-year college just wasn't their thing, he comes back through our doors in St. Mary's and says, "What's the quickest, most affordable way that I can transfer my credits into a degree program?" In a good world, a community college would be his answer, and we don't have that answer for him. So today, my comments are really going to focus on 2 things. And again, it's too bad that we're towards the end of the day, but the first thing is we're going to highlight the need for a community college whose sole mission is to serve our area, and to demonstrate that there is a strong network of community education councils that are out there ready and already working with the Education Consortium of the Upper Alleghenies to bring a hybrid learning model to our region at a reduced cost. So the infrastructure is in place. These are some answers to some questions that came up earlier in the hearing this morning. We do have a network in place. We do have a strong infrastructure, and I'm going to show you that today. The physical borders of our 11-county region that are under discussion are framed by some excellent colleges and universities, which we have heard from and which have already been mentioned. We've got Penn State Du Bois and Brockway's Butler Community College site to the south, as Representative Rapp pointed out, right along Interstate 80, which is also one of the higher population areas in this region. Where I sit in Elk County, which is St. Mary's, Ridgeway, Johnsonburg areas, Brockway and Interstate 80 are still about 30 to 50 minutes away. Brockway itself is 50 minutes away. It's a hard 50 minutes on what we call a turkey path, not an interstate. To the north, we have the University of Pitt at Bradford, which is also at least a 50-minute drive from where we are. And again, St. Mary's is somewhat central in this 11-county region that we were talking about. Clarion University to the west, about an hour and 30 minutes, and Mansfield is about 2 hours and 30 minutes to the east of us. So to fulfill our mission, we have partnered with many of these schools, from the Pitt system, the Penn State system, the PASHE system, private colleges and universities, community or career and technical centers, and in a couple of instances, community colleges have come and go in our region with great programs. We have engaged in various arrangements with these partners, either individually as a CEC or collectively among multiple CECs. And when you walk into any CEC building in our region, you will most likely feel like you have entered a college campus. You will see classrooms, you will see computer labs, you will see advisors and students and people working with those students. In our CEC, for instance, on Tuesday evenings alone, there are 6 different credit and non-credit courses going on at the same time. On our ground floor, there are registered nurses working towards their Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree through Penn State Altoona. The instructor is live at the Penn State Altoona campus. It is broadcast through interactive TV to the Penn State Du Bois campus and our facility in St. Mary's. Down the hall, we have an evening GED class going on. On our second floor, the Education Consortium of the Upper Allegheny is offering a legal environment of business course for their business associate's degree program. Again, it's a hybrid model. We've got students sitting at the CEC in Coudersport in front of an interactive television screen. We've got the instructor live in St. Mary's by our interactive television screen. We've got students sitting in a classroom in Kane and students sitting in a classroom in Warren. And each night, the class is a different class. The instructor is in a different place live, but it is still interactive, and the students have staff at each location to help sort of, so to say, hold their hand, keep them accountable. It's online learning with a little extra support and a little more hand-holding. And then down the hall from our ECUA course, we have Pitt Bradford offering a 4-hour Microsoft Office course. Doesn't this sound like a nice community college campus to you? And it is, because these things are happening. What's unique is that there's multiple players here, and I think a community college would fit really nicely into all of these options. So while we've been successfully providing the access to this higher education for more than 20 years, there are still a few things that we cannot control and things that we cannot help our residents and our businesses with. First, the CECs are not designed to create our own degree programs. As I just illustrated, that's why we go out and we broker and we facilitate with other colleges to offer what they are willing to give us in our region at that time. And as we have also heard here and there this morning, we cannot determine that level and that length of commitment from those different partners, be it a community college, a state-related, or a state system 4-year school. Enrollment numbers compared to the main campus, faculty availability from the main campus, budgets, and outreach services. These are all factors working against a rural outreach center. When the enrollments go away, that partner will go away because it's a business decision. Our partners will come and go if we continue to rely on collaboration, and we have we have dozens of examples of collaboration over the years where there would be a certain grant to fund a certain program or a certain school to do particular things, and it would work while the grant was in place, but as soon as the money and the enrollments would go away, so would that partner. So again, a community college whose mission it is to serve our region unconditionally is what we need. With our current model, we also cannot help with the technical training gaps that we have heard of this morning, and also we cannot always guarantee that the options that we are providing are the most affordable options. Pennsylvania has the highest percentage of family income that is needed to pay for a public 4-year education, yet our rural areas have a lower than average household income. Again, I'll say that again, I know we've talked about this already this morning, but to repeat, Pennsylvania requires the highest percentage of family income needed to pay for a public 4-year education, and yet our rural areas have a lower than average household income, yet all of our options are 4-year colleges. Meanwhile, the student debt crisis cannot be ignored. Pennsylvania has the second highest average student loan debt in the nation at almost $30,000. Purchasing homes, cars, starting a family, and saving retirement are, of course, delayed because of this. Not only is it a financial disadvantage to the individual, but an economic disadvantage to our already distressed rural areas. College completion rates are alarmingly low, no matter which system you look at. Many of the students who do drop out of a college, they eventually return to higher education in some way, shape, or form. They want to know how easy and how affordable it is to transfer and complete their degree programs. And PDE has made leaps and bounds with the PA Transfer and Articulation Center, where every community college in Pennsylvania and each public four-year state system school has made it easy to transfer courses and entire degree programs. Unfortunately, our students cannot take advantage of this wonderful transfer and articulation system. Open admissions policy is a must, and this is something that only a community college can provide. We have seen many students who struggle in the K-12 system actually excel in the college environment, and our students don't have that opportunity. I would like to end my comments by revisiting the previous stories that I opened with. In a better world, when a guidance counselor sits down with that junior or senior at the St. Mary's Public High School and talks about what's next, the term community college would figure into that dialogue. When a single mother who just finished her GED, who is working full-time, wants to get her feet wet with a couple of courses without having to spend a lot of money, a community college will be something that she can turn to. And when that student who has dropped out of his four-year college returns home with 30 credits and he wants to know how easily and affordably he can finish a degree program, he will have a community college that he can turn to. Our rural area is facing a serious brain drain and serious population losses. Elk and Cameron counties were two of the highest population loss counties in the region between 2000 and 2010. Students are leaving the area to participate in higher education because there are no opportunities, and people are telling them not to come back, and they're not. We need this community college to remain competitive. We need this to keep our young people here. We need it to keep our businesses healthy, and we need this community college whose sole mission will be to serve our rural region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who was next testifier would be Kate.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to testify on behalf of House Bill 1701, the Rural Community College Program for Underserved Counties. My name is Pam Strike. I'm the Director of Planning for the North Central Workforce Investment Board, and I represent one of 23 workforce investment areas across the Commonwealth and 6 of the 11 counties designated in this bill, those being Cameron, Clearfield, Elk, Jefferson, McKean, and Potter counties. Our core mission, that of a workforce investment board, is to ensure that our business and industry have an educated and skilled workforce. In order to remain competitive in the 21st century, this is essential. It is my belief that House Bill 1701 will help us accomplish this goal and will ensure that our regional economy continues to grow and prosper. The focus of my testimony will center on the workforce needs, not only of our region, but of our state and the nation. The needs we will discuss today are not contained within county walls, but they extend throughout the nation. The needs we will discuss today, the opportunity presented to us through this bill could position Pennsylvania and our region as a leader amongst states by taking real steps to address these very real issues. One major issue is a growing middle skills or technical skills gap. According to the National Skills Coalition, the definition of a middle skilled gap is one that requires training beyond high school but not a four-year college degree. The Georgetown University's Center on Education and Workforce, in their report entitled Recovery, Job Growth, and Education Requirements through 2020, states that by 2020, 65% of all jobs in the economy will require post-secondary education and training beyond the high school level. According to the same study, 35% of those job openings will require at least a bachelor's degree. 30% will require some college or an associate's degree, and 36% will not require education beyond high school. You can see how this has changed over the years, and the need for education beyond high school is now more of a necessity than ever. According to the Pathways to Prosperity Project report from the Harvard Graduate School of Education, since 1973, jobs that require at least some college have exploded, while opportunities for those with just a high school education have shrunk dramatically. Specifically, the report cites that in 1973, 72% of all workers had a high school diploma, or less, compared to 41% in 2007. In addition, this report also states that in 1973, only 12% of all jobs required an associate degree, as compared to 27% in 2007 of some college and associate degree. Middle skill occupations are increasing in our region, particularly in the advanced manufacturing and healthcare sectors. According to a joint report of the Northwest and our North Central PA WIB, technical training, certifications, associate degree programs all meet the needs found in the growing number of job openings. Employers in our region stress to us daily that they have a fear that they anticipate losing many skilled workers over the next decade due to retirements. An aging workforce contributes to the current and looming gaps between their entry-level and their highly skilled workforce. According to the Georgetown report, by 2020, there will be 55 million job openings, 24 million from newly created jobs, and 31 million due to the baby boomer retirements. This concern is not new to the North Central Workforce Investment Board. We have had a growing concern over the accessibility and affordability of post-secondary education in our region for many years. In fact, in 2005, our board contracted with the World Class Industrial Network, LLC, to complete an analysis of the regional workforce system. This study identified that our region does have the infrastructure in place, with 7 technical and vocational technical schools, 10 schools, 12 high schools, 14 junior highs, and 53 elementary schools. In addition, there are a number of post-secondary providers, including the community education councils and PA Career Link centers, that could collaborate with the regional community college for space and services. In fact, one recommendation from this study from 2005 was that a larger managed portfolio of such efforts might be in fact run as a virtual community college, much like is being suggested here today. Another glaring concern cited in this report was in regard to the affordability of post-secondary education. And I know Kate had alluded to this, however, I'll give some more detailed statistics. According to this study, our PA rural counties attribute a much greater percentage of mean earnings as well as mean household income in comparison to the state average and PA urban counties, with the highest percentages in Clearfield County at almost 32% of mean earnings to attain a higher education degree, and Cameron County at almost 19% of mean household income. The state average was at 23% of mean earnings and just under 14% of mean household income, with PA urban counties at 22% and 13% respectively. The Regional Community College will lessen the burden on our citizens with tuition not to exceed the Pennsylvania in-resident community college average as stated in this bill, therefore giving many more individuals the opportunity to participate in education in our region. I will end with an excerpt from our joint report with the Northwest Workforce Investment Board. Our shared vision for community college training breaks down silos and barriers to access, capitalizing on our existing resources where possible to avoid duplication and direct funds for the types of training that are in highest current or projected demand by local employers. Strong partnerships with employers, existing educational entities, and one-stop PA Career Link centers are a high priority so that we may leverage our investments to benefit all rural residents. As the Budget and Finance Committee report notes, only 37% of rural Pennsylvanians 25 years of age and older have training beyond high school, compared with 50% of non-rural Pennsylvanians. This is unacceptable and not sustainable to the future of our workforce. We are fully prepared as a Workforce Investment Board to support efforts to bring affordable, accessible, middle-skill training to our region, specifically through the Rural Regional Community College Program.
Chair thanks you, and now directs our attention to Mr. Dwayne Mancini.
Thank you. Good afternoon. and thank you for the opportunity to testify regarding House Bill 1701. I am the president of the Education Consortium of the Upper Allegheny. For your background knowledge, we are governed by a board of trustees, which include retired university presidents, IU directors, business leaders within the 11-county area, retired and working superintendents of schools, hospital board members, and CEC directors. Our board of directors encompasses the entire 11-county region. They live and work within the region that we are discussing today. I'm a retired teacher of 11 years, high school principal of 11 years, and superintendent of schools for however many more that takes me to get to retirement age, I guess 13 years. Further, I've served 2 terms as a Venango Career and Tech Chief Executive Officer. I've served 2 terms as president of the Warren Forest Community Education Council. I currently serve on the Brockway Center for Arts and Technology Board, and I'm a former board member of the Pennsylvania Association of Rural and Small Schools and a member of the Middle States Regional Board. I tell you that just to give you some background that I have close to 40 years of educational background and over 60 years of life, all in northwestern Pennsylvania. I'm also a very proud graduate of Mansfield University. So as I look at this, and I guess it's a disadvantage in a lot of ways to go last, because much of my testimony, Representative Causer has talked about, Representative Rapp has talked about, Mr. Esch has given in his testimony, Dr. Smith, Kate, and Pam. So with your indulgence, I'm just going to wing it a little bit here to give you some background. As I mentioned, I was happily retired. And all of a sudden, I read an ad in the paper concerning the Educational Consortium of the Upper Allegheny. And I realized that all of a sudden, someone was trying to address something that had never been addressed in my educational career. An opportunity for those students in our area to have a community college education and background. Much to my wife's dismay, I come out of retirement because of my passion for this program. And I believe that what we're doing now addresses the key mission of ECUA, which is affordable, accessible education. As we look at this, there are many partnerships that have already been formed, and there's many things that have been tried in the past. I would reference you perhaps to the Northern Tier Initiative that took place in the late 90s and early 2000s. I was serving as the superintendent of school at the time. It was an excellent initiative, and it was a collaborative effort between 4 of the state universities in our area. They had a director, and we went out and we talked to our students and our communities and told them about the great things that were going to happen, and great things did happen. Because in our area, in northwestern Pennsylvania, north central, we're blessed with many, many fine institutions of secondary learning. Unfortunately, we do not have the community college component within that particular makeup. It goes back to the Northern Tier Initiative for 3 years flourished. It flourished very well. School districts were happy, parents were happy, students had opportunities. The funding ended, and so did the commitment. And it goes back to Mr. Esch's comments that were read by Representative Rapp. The sustainability of the program becomes a key issue. We've had so many things, if you will, that have been flash in the pan that we're going to do for this rural area, but none of them have been sustained over time. We talk about many things, and one thing that the original white paper research pointed out that as a working principal and superintendent, I wasn't aware of. And that being the fact that over 60% of our graduates who walk across our stage in the 11-county region pursue a post-secondary degree, a 4-year degree. That sounds wonderful. The downside of that is over 70% leave within 3 semesters. They leave for a myriad of reasons. They leave because maybe the academic rigor. They leave perhaps and probably because of the financial rigors as well. They leave sometimes because that is not the environment that they were brought up in. As superintendent of schools in Forest area, we had graduating classes of 18 at East Forest, graduating classes of 23. For those students to go out and right off the bat compete in very large groups is very, very difficult for them. There needed to be another option for those students. With all that being said, I just want to reinforce to you the need is real and it's long overdue. The local support is real, as we've received resolutions from over 30 school districts, community charter schools, and career centers within the 11-county area. And as you know, we are serviced by 5 career and technical centers spread throughout the 11 counties, all who are very interested in working with this program to see that technical training can be used at their facilities. To quote the director of the Crawford Career and Tech Center, he said, "I wish my doors were open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. The equipment's here, it should be used. We would like to work with you." We've heard the same thing at Seneca Highlands Career and Tech Center. But there is one thing that you should realize too. There's a very large section within that 11 county. It's not serviced at all by a Career and Technical Center, and that being in McKean County, which is a definite disadvantage for those students as well. We've received financial support from community foundations, area businesses, individuals, and financial institutions. Through their support, we were able to conduct studies such as the RCCA study. We were able to buy more equipment that allows us to continue with our hybrid presentation model that we are currently using. And as I mentioned, we are providing associate degree training currently in 8 locations within the region through the use of interactive television and a very creative partnership with Gannon University. You might say, why Gannon University? When we were looking to start something, we put out an RFP to every post-secondary institution in the area, asking them to put forth proposals. And we received some wonderful proposals. Very easily could have gone with a number of schools. The bottom line come down to the affordability and the accessibility. Through the Gannon program, we are offering these credits at $175 a credit, and for dual enrollment students at $33 a credit. This summer, we will have our first associate degree graduates from the program. The model is there. We have done all of this without bricks and mortar. We've done this with our partners. We are in Corey. We are in Coudersport. The CECs have been tremendous supporters of this program. We are located at the CECs. Where there's not CECs, we're in high schools, such as in Kane, such as in Emporium, such as in Tidiute Community Charter School. If you have an ITV unit, we can download the coursework to you. The accessibility and the driving distance is within your home community. If you have an interest, we can bring the associate degree program there. For the technical programs, we would utilize the current 5 career and tech centers within the area. To summarize, it's all about fairness and equity within the state. For over 60 years, my entire career, the state has contributed millions of dollars collected from all residents in this state to support existing community colleges, and you are being commended for doing so. But it's time to address the issue of fairness. It's our turn. The students in northwestern Pennsylvania need, deserve, and should rightfully be served by a community college. The need cannot be more evident for affordable, accessible community college opportunities with remedial help for students, open admissions, and transferability of credits earned. Please give them this opportunity. It's about fairness, it's about opportunity, it's about equity. The time is now, and it's the right thing to do. I would like to thank this committee, its leadership, for the opportunity to offer testimony this morning, and I would like to thank Representative Kaiser and Representative Rapp for their leadership in bringing this vitally important bill to the committee. Thank you.
Chair, thanks, the gentleman. And I do have a question or two, and you can all chime in. One of the things that caught my attention was with the testimony of Pamela Stretch when she was talking about jobs, because jobs are very important to us here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. As we try to do budgets, we're trying to grow jobs. And let me just preface my remark by saying, unfortunately, many jobs have been exported overseas. I don't have to tell you about the textiles and about steel companies. And then the coal industry is under fierce attack by regulations by the EPA. They may close up yet. We don't even know if they can survive the tough regulations of the Environmental Protection Agency. So, and agriculture continues to be one of our main industries where we get employment and we grow a very important product. And I could mention tourism, but that's not an issue where you are. Gas and oil probably is more likely. So my questions are, while the Georgetown report is saying you're going to have have this additional education, which I agree is important, but it's not going to be in education. Education is not growing at the rate it has been in the last 15 or 20 years. So where are the jobs going to be created? We know that there are in the vocational career jobs. When I look back at the one that I have in my own district, there's machine shops and there are other specialties that young people can be trained in, and that is a growing industry, electricians and plumbers. But those are not across the spectrum. They're not the dozens and hundreds of jobs that we need. So kind of share with me this afternoon, where do you see the growth in jobs taking place? And I open that to all of you.
I can answer, and Kate has some information as well. That report definitely took into account all sectors, not just the education sector. We do every year work with the Center for Workforce Information Analysis out of Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, and there are identified high priority occupations within every workforce investment area. Out of the 116 high priority occupations for 2013, I'm speaking for the North Central Workforce Investment Area, only 29 of those occupations require a bachelor's degree or higher. The remaining 87 occupations require anywhere from work experience to certification programs to associate degree programs. And many of our employers, through our industry partnerships, will tell us that if they have a short-term certificate program, they would hire someone and provide additional training. So also in North Central region, our number one industry is definitely manufacturing, employing more than any other industry, with healthcare a close second. The gas and oil industry is growing slowly, and it shows the most growth because there wasn't as many employed in that industry, and also business and financial services. We look at every industry. We work with employers through our career link system, through the CEC, through our industry partnerships. We have those partnerships in place, and we think we have the system that if a occupation is identified that they're looking for, we can provide outreach to our CECs and other education providers to make sure that education is available. If we look at more of the community college aspect.
Pam alluded a little bit to the manufacturing industry.
Yes.
In the North Central region, and especially in the counties that our CEC is concerned with, Elk and Cameron. In Cameron County alone, 50% of all employment is in the manufacturing sector. In Elk County, 40% of all employment is in the manufacturing sector. Elk County's unemployment rate as of, the end of December was 6.3%, while the state averaged over 7%. So manufacturing is still doing fairly well in our region, and we do anticipate that being a big industry driver for future training and education.
Just give me a name of one of the manufacturing companies, just so I...
Powdered metal is the biggest part of manufacturing in Elk and Cameron counties at this point. So one of the larger companies is called GKN. It is a global company. Metaldyne, also global. We have GE, two GE facilities. One is a sensing plant, one is a thermometrics. The thing with our manufacturers in particularly Elkin Cameron and most of the North Central region is we make parts for bigger things. You can't just go into a store and expect to buy an entire product by one of our manufacturers. They're parts of cars and parts of lawnmowers and parts of blenders and tubes of lipstick,
Sure.
for instance.
And that's fine. I just needed to know the name. Thank you. At this time, the chair recognizes Representative Rapp for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't believe I was actually on the list, but I want to thank the three of you for being here today. I actually am disappointed that we don't have more members here to hear your testimony. I wish you could have been first instead of last. But I appreciate all the work that you've done. Certainly the CECs in our region right now are vital, and I certainly support the concept of the community college and will continue to do so. I do believe that our constituents are being shortchanged by not having that opportunity, and they've actually been shortchanged for 30 years, it appears. In being able to have the access to a community college education. And I'm just disappointed that the rest of our members are not here to hear your testimony and to hear that testimony. So and I'm sure Representative Causer support this concept and will continue to support the legislation. So thank you for being here.
And if I may follow up, Representative Rapp, as a principal in a small school district, also a superintendent principal, you conduct exit interviews with every one of your graduates. You need to do that prior to graduation. You need it for the graduate report that must be filed the following year. As we sit and talk with those students, and all my time, we discussed many options. The one option that we never discussed because it was not an option was that of a community college education. And that is truly a shame, because I'll contend the students in our area, considering the state median income, the fact that many of them are locked into their communities, it makes it so much more vitally important that we do have this option for those students.
Absolutely, Mr. Vicini, and my question to Dr. Smith earlier was regarding, when your student, your child, the expense of higher education today, and no matter where, I'm from Warren County, it's very difficult for students to attend Clarion, Edinburgh, Pitt, Bradford. The expense of driving back and forth on the roads that we travel back and forth on, and the hours of classes, the scheduling, so it just adds to the expense of our families when they have to pay room and board on top of tuition. And so I do believe this is an issue of equal opportunity, when we have seen for 30 years our constituents have paid taxes into supporting other education institutions, and I agree with what you said. Out of fairness, it's our turn.
It's also very difficult to have our students enroll in community college programs that are offered within the 11 counties and be referred to as a profit center, because they're paying 2/3 of their tuition, the state is paying 1/3, and those are the only students in the community college system that are paying full tuition. Also, just one other note. I know that Senate Bill 360 was discussed, looking at funding for how to do this most fairly for community colleges and so on. I would ask that you would look at the makeup of the committee that was going to study that, because again, no one from northwestern or north central Pennsylvania is included in that particular group, and we would certainly like to have a voice in that matter.
Well, my observations and listening to the testimony, I am concerned that, as I said, to me, Butler County is not in Northwest PA. And so I am somewhat disturbed when I hear testimony. I live in northwestern PA. I know where northwestern Pennsylvania is. I know the counties in northwestern Pennsylvania. So I appreciate your statement in regard to those comments. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, gentlelady, and recognizes Representative Causer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank you for your testimony today. You folks are the ones on the front lines in northwestern and north central Pennsylvania trying to provide opportunities for students. And you've made the case today very clearly for the need for additional opportunities for students in that particular region. It's unfortunate to me today, the things that I'm hearing from some of the other testifiers. It seems like to some people it's all about money and it's all about protecting turf. And it should be about opportunities for students. And our students in northwestern and north central Pennsylvania are being shortchanged. And they should have the same opportunities that every other student in this state has currently. So, Mr. Chairman, the people in northwestern PA need a lifeline, and I would appreciate your support of this legislation. Thank you.
Sure, thanks to the gentleman. Just for the record, we have your testimony, and it's available to other members of the committee, so I just wanted to give you that assurance. And we have someone who's been taking notes throughout the course of the public hearing, so those notes will be made available as well. And we've been recorded, I believe, on television, so many people have heard your concerns, and I'm sure they share your sentiments as you presented them today. So we have a good listening audience, so I just wanted to let you know it's just not a few of us here, but it's many that are listening in.